So there's this guy. His name is John. And if you thought you had a rough patch in life, just wait until you hear this story. John wasn't just your average guy. He had his life together, or so everyone thought. He had the house, the car, the perfect family. You know, the stuff Instagram dreams are made of. His house? It wasn't just any house. It was a dream house perched right on the cliffs of South Africa, overlooking some of the most stunning ocean views imaginable. Seriously, it was the kind of house people would drool over in real estate magazines. But what people didn't know? This house had a dark past, a past no one really talked about. Well, no one except for the locals, who had their own set of eerie stories about the place. See this house? It was sitting on a stretch of land known as Devil's Coast. Yeah, sounds ominous, right? But John wasn't one to believe in ghost stories. He was a rational guy, you know? He wasn't buying into all the local folklore about the land being cursed or haunted. So when he got the place for a steal, he thought he'd hit the jackpot. This was going to be the place where his family, his wife Sarah, his daughter Emma, and his son David could settle down, start fresh, and live their best lives. But as they soon found out, not every dream is what it seems. When they first moved in, everything was fine, beautiful even. Every morning, they'd wake up to the sun rising over the ocean, and every night they'd fall asleep to the sound of waves gently lapping against the cliffs below. It was like living inside a postcard. But then, things started to get weird. Not creepy weird, just off. Little things that didn't make sense. At first, it was just noises, little creaks and groans that John chalked up to the house settling. It was an old house after all, built sometime in the early 1900s, so a few strange noises were to be expected, right? But then the noises got louder. Sarah was the first to notice it. She started hearing footsteps at night, and not just random creaks. No, these were deliberate, rhythmic footsteps, like someone was walking up and down the hallway. Every night, around the same time, 2:35 a.m. to be exact, the footsteps would start. And every time Sarah got up to check, she'd find nothing. No one, just silence. At first, John thought she was overreacting. He'd tell her, "It's just the house, it's old. You're probably imagining things." But then one night, he heard it too. And when he got up to investigate, he swore he saw something, a shadow, move at the end of the hallway. But when he got there, nothing. Just an empty hall, cold air, and a chill that ran straight down his spine. And then there was Emma. She started having nightmares, which, you know, kids do sometimes. But these weren't just any nightmares. She kept waking up in the middle of the night, screaming about a woman. "The lady in the water," she called her. She said this woman was trying to talk to her, calling her to the cliffs, to the ocean. Every time Emma tried to describe the woman, her eyes would glaze over like she was in some kind of trance. She said the woman had long black hair, dripping with water, her face pale, her eyes empty, hollow. "She wants me to come and play," Emma would say, as if it was the most normal thing in the world, except it wasn't. Now, here's where things start to really spiral. One night, John wakes up to find Sarah sitting upright in bed, her eyes wide open, staring at the bedroom window. He follows her gaze, but there's nothing there. Just the darkness outside and the faint sound of the waves crashing against the rocks below. He tries to shake her out of it, but she's completely unresponsive, like she's in some kind of trance. It's not until he shakes her harder that she snaps out of it, gasping like she just came up for air after being underwater for too long. She couldn't remember what she was doing or why she was staring out the window like that. She just said, "I don't know. I heard her voice again." By now, John was starting to get seriously freaked out, but it was about to get a whole lot worse. It was the middle of the night, sometime around 2:30 a.m., when John woke up to the sound of the storm. Not just any storm, a freak storm. One minute, everything was calm, and the next, it was like the heavens had opened up. Thunder rattled the windows, lightning lit up the sky, and the wind? The wind was howling like a wild animal, slamming against the house with enough force to make the walls shake. John got up to check on the kids, but when he opened the door to Emma's room, she wasn't there. The bed was empty, the blankets tossed aside like she'd gotten up in a hurry. His heart started pounding in his chest. Where could she have gone?